The Spider-Man 2 hype train is not stopping as more info gets pushed into the universe, and most importantly with 23 hours in particular remaining from something we also badly want to see. And yes, I'm not just talking about trailer 2.0, but more so the new build version of Spider-Man 2, which has been teased all week, right down to it officially being revealed as to why the PlayStation Showcase hid a few things for this game, which has raised some concerns. And lastly, despite the hype, we do have some bad news, which is just, I guess, sad. Now, if you could leave a like, it helps a ton, but turn that into a dislike if you get to the end and did not enjoy the video. Now, all we have been told this past week, time and time again, is that we have seen nothing, and that everything we've seen was on an old build version for this game, which, by the way, we have no idea how old that build actually is. But some new footage and a trailer 2.0 for Spider-Man 2 on specifically the new build may well be less than 23 hours away, thanks to the Summer Game Fest happening on June 8th at 12 PM Pacific time. Now, we had the trailer drop for that show, which included a snippet from the recent Spider-Man 2 trailer, and it's confirmed that Sony is also attending the event. But then we were told, hey, just because something shows in a trailer for the show in particular doesn't actually mean that it will be shown at the event. Now, that is math that just doesn't math. Now, it's interesting because they said the exact same thing last time with Suicide Squad, only to then reveal Batman. So the chances of a new Spider-Man trailer or a new snippet of footage, and most likely lots of new info, well, it's actually very high. Now, the simple reason is because the recent PlayStation Showcase was very much a 50-50, and the new one is supposedly happening later this year, and I guess that's just supposed to be ironing things out on the things that they've already announced, so to say. But with that said, the reveal has already happened for the game, and the game is big enough, and the release date, most importantly, is not far off, and well, the marketing has officially started, which leads me perfectly onto the next thing, which is that Insomniac have explained why Marvel Spider-Man 2 didn't have a PlayStation Showcase 2023 release date. Now, in a recent interview with the Washington Post, Marvel Spider-Man 2's creative director, who goes by the name of Brian Intihar, actually addressed that elephant in the room, saying the following: "It's really just making sure that we are really confident that when we announce the date, we are actually going to hit it, and it's just really about that." Now, that did raise some concerns, or small concerns should we say, but we did also see the mini Easter egg hinting to a November release date in the recent trailer, which may very well just be their placeholder. But with companies like GameStop now listing the game on their site for what seems like gearing up to be a pre-order page, and knowing that the game is releasing in fall of this year, what could change a release date not being met? Or the bigger question is, how far off would it be from their initial date that they have pre-planned? And let's just assume that that little Easter egg that we saw in that recent trailer actually does have some positivity to it in terms of being the official placeholder date. So let's just say November. How far off would we then be from November? A lot of questions are there, but I think it's the right move on their end rather than just doing a last minute delay, even if it was by a month. So I'd say overall it's a smart move on Insomniac's end, but will that change this week, especially with the show that Peter Parker's voice actor Yuri is hosting and has been teasing on his socials all week, urging us to swing by? Well, I guess that's where things are going to get interesting. Now, the sad news: from puddle complaints to comments about the game looking like a PlayStation 3 build, you'd think it would not get weirder. but it does. A certain amount of people continue to send more abuse to people working on this game, and in this case, it's for the face of Peter Parker. Now, we all know there was the swap from John Bubniak to Ben Jordan, except that was a while ago, but now every time Ben Jordan posts on his accounts, the comment section is just flooded with how people felt John was way better. Now, the main concern here is why the face of Peter Parker actually matters. I mean, literally. And why people would go out of their way to harass someone for this. Now, don't get me wrong, we are all entitled to opinions, but there is literally opinions and then there is harassment. Two separate things. Now, the sad part is that it was not too long ago that Insomniac devs actually received death threats yet again, and it does not seem to be stopping or slowing down. Now, there are some great people in the community, but sadly, it just seems like they are always overshadowed by the toxicness that comes from the other group, and really, if it does not stop, it just makes the community for the game look childish and, for the most part, pushes people away in terms of wanting to be a part of that community and actually engaging. Now, as I say, there are opinions and then there is harassment, and so far with everything going on with this game, in my opinion, it looks flawless. Of course, with the concerns about the release date and how far off we would actually be from the placeholder, which again, we don't even know what that placeholder is. That is still specifically speculation, although I guess we could just reference that Easter egg again, but again, nothing is officially confirmed in that regard. But I can see where there are loads of questions and where there are concerns, etc, etc, but you know, complaining about things like the water in the game and then, you know, the actual face model in the game and then right down to it looking like a PlayStation 3 game, I mean, come on. There is borderline where it's like, okay, are these genuine opinions and actual complaints, or is it just one big joke? That is really, I guess, how most people are seeing the situation. Now, what is interesting regardless, however, is that despite Insomniac always being at the firing line all the time for these minor things, it got me super hyped to know that they have added some features specifically in the game for the fans, and I'm talking features that we've been wanting to see for a very long time, and well, it's going to really change that gameplay experience. So what am I talking about? Well, go ahead and check out the video that you see on screen right now.